It's my feel-good breakfast show.
An intro like that deserves a man with a moustache on his face. It's your feel-good breakfast show. JP Sebastian, he is here. Yes, the moustache is there too. And we're talking all things movies releasing this weekend, and I'm so excited. We've got a list to get through.
Yeah.
And if
you saw
love,
some big names that you were interested in?
Saw some big names, but let's jump straight into the first one, Air. I mean, if you loved Phil Knight's story and his book Shoe Dog, I think you're
This is
going to
Around the Man, of course.
You're gonna
You just
love
finished
this.
that book, Shoe Dog?
I finished it a while ago, and I loved every minute.
And every name, I'm sure, was fascinating, like what their history was. This specifically goes into Sonny Vaccaro, is the guy's name. And he was a sales guy who was, I suppose, in a way, underling to Phil Knight. So at the very start, I suppose, of Nike as a more established kind of brand, he's the person who put Jordan in the Airs, hence the name of the movie. Now, we don't have a date for this in SA just yet. Strangely enough, in America, it will get a date in April, May, I think it is. So we can expect it about then. There's no way they're going to stagger a release of about a movie this big. And these are all big movies I'm talking about this morning, because obviously Super Bowl was last weekend.
That took the limelight. Rihanna and her baby bum.
Every movie wants a piece of the limelight pie. And so you've got a movie directed by Ben Affleck, who previously has done great directorial work. The Town is incredible. Do yourself a favor, watch The Town. So his crime movies are great as well. And this one, Air was actually on what they refer to as the blacklist for scripts. The blacklist is like the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. And in 2021, for insiders, not even us as like, viewers, within the industry, Air was rated as best script of 2021, so most promising. And then Ben Affleck, Matt Damon took it over. His first time directing his longtime buddy and co-worker.
Okay.
Last we saw them in was The Last Duel, which is also good. You should give it it's a hard watch, but it's worth a watch. And here they elevate the story and bring it to life. Viola Davis, of course, Jason Bateman, mostly then a biopic more than just the story of the corporation. It's weird seeing these movies about corporations. I suppose they're interesting, and yeah, like you said, if you actually dig into the blood and guts of the thing, it can be very interesting. Previously, Matt Damon did Ford versus Ferrari, so this is a strange sort of streak he's on. But it's cool seeing these two guys do a movie together, because they just started a production company back in November called Artists Equity, where their idea as these two creators, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, is to actually share profit with creators in a more equitable way. And hopefully this movie is the first test of the proof in the pudding of their production company. Like I said, no date in SA, but I'm sure we'll see it next month.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's move over to the next movie that's also got big names in it. I'm talking about Owen Wilson.
Where's he been?
Watkins.
After so long. What was the last thing he was in? I mean, there was Zoolander 2, of course, where he was obviously Hansel. How can I forget his name? Hansel. So hot right now, Hansel. And still no date for this one just yet in SA, but I hope that people recognize the character that he's supposed to be portraying in Paint. Named here Carl Nagel. Very much similarly to the person he's proxying, which is Bob Ross. Have you heard of the painter Bob Ross? So
Unfortunately,
do yourself
have not.
a favor. The guy is so sort of therapeutic to watch in real life, Bob Ross, that the BBC, even Twitch, streamed his TV show during lockdown because it was so calming. So he plays this character in the 80s who is got this angelic, poofy perm on his head. Apparently a ladies' man. I didn't know that was a thing.
Got the look and everything.
If that's your cup of tea, then go wild. So then, yeah, Owen Wilson plays this completely sweetie pie who is, for all sorts of people, cathartic, from people sitting in pubs to people in old age homes. But an up-and-comer, as things go in this industry, takes his limelight, takes his spot, and he has to tango with being a dude who's seen as an angel and the therapy for everyone else in America, needing therapy of his own to feel time moving on without him.
Aww.
And his role being replaced as this darling of the United States. Similar in real life to Mr. Rogers that Tom Hanks played recently, that kind of thing. Sesame Street sort of vibe.
Aww.
But in real life, Bob Ross, because he was such a sweet human being, actually, after his death, as a legal commitment, said, all interviews with me have to be destroyed. Nothing of me has to be merchandised, and this is why I don't think they could do the biopic. But fortunately, it looks like it has a lot of heart to it, and it's not just one of these things where it's like, what if we did Bob Ross, but Wolf of Wall Street? Nah, it looks sweet, and I look forward to it. No date in SA just yet, but hopefully, do yourselves a favor, YouTube Bob Ross.
Definitely. And then let's look at the last movie trailer that you're bringing to our forefront. This one is called Strays, and it's releasing the 7th of July.
It has a hard R, a big R on the poster, which is to say adult viewing. So you've got Will Ferrell there, naturally, looking very much like Baxter from Anchorman. I don't remember his dog.
Yes.
Not, in fact, Baxter in this, weirdly enough. Wolf Forte, who is his terrible owner, the dog says that we play this game called Fetch and F Off. And he's so gleeful about this. He's like, my owner loves this game. And every time he brings the ball back, Wolf Forte is like, yeah, that big F-bomb that I nearly just used. He then eventually finally gets lost by Will Ferrell in the big city where he finds dogs who do drugs, dogs who drink beer, prostitute dogs, naturally. And Will Ferrell's a small dog in a big city where Jamie Foxx is a French bulldog like we've never known before. I hope no one out there can lip read dogs because there's a lot of swearing in this, but actually one I look forward to despite, you know, like trying to be edgy and hardcore. Looks like it's going to be hilarious. SA is July 7th.
July 7th. Well, there we go. Some of those new movie trailers that's released. JP Sebastian, he's not going anywhere. That moustache is staying on your screen. Stay tuned.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3. We are talking movies with JP Sebastian, and we are on to part 2 of movie trailers that have just released, and we are moving on to the big guns, if I can call it that.
Yes, thank you. As I was doing my quarterback throw, is it the quarterback who throws? I don't watch American
Yes, it
football.
is the quarterback.
Yes, I have man points, apparently.
Touchdown.
Since the moustache has knocked me down a couple of pegs.
It's okay. We are now focusing on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Awesome belief. So again, around that Super Bowl, not whole, festivity, there were a lot of trailer releases this weekend, and some of them had to pay that $7 million for those 30 seconds worth of advertising. This one, however, was released just slightly prior, so you get to see a lot more of where the story's going. The previous one was just mostly eye candy. Previous trailer. Second one really tells you more that we're following the story of Rocket a lot more closely. And he, for me, is like the heart and soul, I think, of Guardians, because he's still, dealing with a lot of unfinished business of his own. Obviously, Peter Quill has now found love, who magically is back in this. I don't know the physics of that, how Gamora, Green Lady, is back. Because she passed away before the snap of Thanos in phase 4, I suppose it was. But hey, there's a little otter and a cute doggy. I'm sure that they're not going to be as cute and sweet as we think, since Rocket's got a mouth on him. But yeah, like one of the most humane characters. I'm glad that they're going to be exploring what went wrong, I suppose, or right with Rocket, and how does he find his family eventually. Glad that he did. Glad to see Dave Bautista as always, that dude who I've been whining about lately, because he's talking about ending his acting career, which is nonsense, because he's one of the funniest. He's one of the best actors we got for what he is.
Why do they do that?
But like, it's not even like out of self-pity. He's just like, well, eventually my body's going to age. I can't do action anymore. Whatever. This might definitely be the last Guardians, I think, since James Gunn is directing this. He moved into the DC studios, where that seems to be falling all sorts of pieces apart, and we'll find out more by the next movie. But however, this does have a date in South Africa, fortunately. I think that's the 5th of May.
It is the 5th of May, so that's going to be quite exciting. And before you know it, May's going to be here. We're already halfway through Feb, March, April, boom, May's here.
I felt myself age in that one sentence. So yeah, it's actually Guardians, one that's got a big heart for me and one that I look forward to. However, JP is mostly a grouch when it comes to superhero movies, and I think Flash is going to make me grouchy, possibly.
Oh, well, we are
who
actually looking at The Flash right now.
Sorry, The Flash, not Flash. Ezra Miller. What can be said about Ezra Miller?
Say nice things. Try and find it deep down in your, wherever you find it, and then
tell you what,
nice
let's just talk about the movie. So, introduces other gigantic names. You will already see Michael Shannon is back as Zod. Michael Keaton is back as Batman. I don't know how I feel about these things. Ben Affleck is not selling Nikes in this one. But I think definitely, man, what is happening to the studio?
He's been busy, Ben Affleck.
They got rid of your boy, Henry Cavill. I'm sure that you're heartbroken about that. Why is he not Superman anymore? They got Flash that they're holding out hope for. They got Michael Keaton as this big sort of appearance. Remember he played Batman when we were kids? Before we just aged in this space of a sentence that took me all the way to May. But yeah, story being here very much similar to, there was Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, where for whatever reason, Spider-Man, a kid, is allowed to go back in time and is warned, you know, this will screw up the time-space continuum. And in this as well, Batman tells the Flash, you know, this will screw with the space-time continuum. Allows a teenager to go back and change time irrespective. There are very few action scenes in this trailer, at least, with The Flash, so there's not a lot of how we know he jumps straight into action. We'll find out more as more trailers are revealed. but obviously Batman gets to business. And whoever this person is, I'm sorry, I'm not nerdy enough to know who that character is.
Times like this, I try not to watch too many trailers because I feel like they give you all the best snippets, and then by the time you go watch the movie, you're slightly disappointed.
This one's the juice more than the story. So by the second trailer, you might get the trailer that you're more used to seeing. The one that doesn't spoil so much, who knows, whatever. But what's the date on that for us,
The
Zoe, in
release
South Africa?
for The Flash is June 16th, Youth Day.
Okay, yes.
There we
indeed.
go. Well, this year's flying by. But let's move over to our last one, Fast X.
Flying by.
Releasing day is the 19th of May.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure that this is also a national holiday in South Africa because Fast and Furious is an institution here. We love it to death. And I've also got a soft spot in my heart for it too. I feel like, you know what, if James Bond can have, like, how many is it, 40 movies now? That's
Yeah.
probably a lot more. Then why isn't there another series that can do that? I'm not sure that I want to see
But I
Fast.
mean, Fast and the Furious have had Vin Diesel in all of them.
And
most of them,
surprisingly,
most
The
of
Rock
them.
doesn't even return to this one. And this one is all about the family breaking apart. I can't go into the politics about why Dwayne Johnson isn't here. But, of course, like you said, Vin Diesel isn't absolutely... Except, of course, for Tokyo Drift.
Yes, that's the only one who wasn't in.
You pointed at me very academically there. You were like, yes, test your facts. Brie Larson is in this for reasons. And the entire Han, all your regulars are in this too. Hope that it's going to be action-packed. There's some people, obviously, I think the camp is sort of split. More people are like, where's the car action, guys? Like, when was it? It used to be about drifting. It used to be about the skill of racing and whatever. And then, obviously, there are people who like to see cars jump out of planes. Look, if those stunts pass off well enough, and Vin Diesel's got a big enough heart and love for the series, he's not just dialing it in, he's not just picking up a check. I suppose I have respect for the love that they put into it. As goofy as it might be, but like you said, later this year, South Africans can expect the 10th one.
The 10th, Fast and the Furious,
Crazy.
also known as Fast X. There we go. Well, JP Sebastian, thank you so much.
Oh man, nearly nerded out so bad.
That's okay. It's okay.